in Google Classroom. So it might be a little bit more immediate in Google Classroom. And then on Wednesdays, we might, when we have time, update the grades in Infinite Campus. It just kind of depends on the teacher and how they're grading. And then there was another question too about how long we think that it'll take kids to get the hang of this. I mean, I think everyone's learning together. It's a new thing for everyone. So the first few weeks is going to be just us like getting comfortable with the new platforms that we're using, like Google Classroom, and then the new math book and the new ELA book and like all that stuff. So I think it's safe to say the first like week or two, maybe even 3, to get used to everything and get the kids in the routine and like all that stuff, just like it is in school as well. So there's plenty of time for everyone to get used to it. And we're all going to take it slowly and figure it out together. So I wouldn't be too worried about us being really strict on the fact that like if they miss an assignment or anything like that. I think it'll take a few weeks for everyone to get accustomed to everything.
I have a question. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yes.
I asked the question about how long to get used to the routine, but I also was wondering, would you recommend that parents linger for the first couple of days while they're online doing schoolwork to sort of help facilitate the learning? Or, I mean, I'm not going to let her hit the ground running, but I don't want to hover, but I also want to make sure.
I understand what you're saying, and that's a really good question. And honestly, it's a really hard question.
Yeah.
I've been at Dominion. This will be my 24th year. Many of you are familiar with families, and I've had several of your kids. And 7th grade is a hard grade. We want our kids to be able to manage themselves and do the right thing, but the reality is some of them just aren't ready for it. I have 2 kids of my own, and if I think back to 7th grade, I have one who managed it just fine, and the other one, it was a nightmare. Just about tears every night, and she looked at me and asked, "Why are you crying, Mom?" You know, because it was me who was in tears. So I think, you know, that's a hard thing to really answer for you. I mean, you could try it. I wouldn't be, oh, sorry, my dog's barking. I wouldn't be surprised if you got eye rolls and "Mom, leave me alone" and stuff like that. But at the same time, you know, if things start to crash and burn, then, you know, you really need to be there. That's a terrible answer, but that's the best one I have right now.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Ms. Treaster, did you see the question about where to send vaccination records if they have them already?
Yes, I put in my email. I can put that again. If you don't have access to email, I guess ask me and we'll figure something else out, but I will type my email in right now.
Okay.
And you can, it helps if you can scan it and email it, but if you can only like take a picture and email it, that will work as well. And if you're not sure if you have it, it's hard to keep track of everything. I can look on what records that we do have. Just again, email me and let me know and I can do that.
Thank you. We have a chat or a question about soccer. We have one of the soccer coaches on our team, Ms. Walker. The question is, or it says, "I emailed asking about soccer, but haven't heard any response. Is there anyone know who is running the 7th grade soccer team?"
It's me. It's me. So I am the soccer coach with Mr. Meyer. And I'm sorry if you emailed me and I missed it. We've had an influx of emails over the last few weeks, but we, as of right now, we have no answer for you. We're waiting on the district to make a decision about middle school athletics. Right now, it's only high school that they're allowing. They're trying to figure out some logistics for middle school to see if it's possible to have one based on transportation and things like that. So over probably the next week or two, we'll have an answer. But as of right now, we unfortunately don't have an answer about any middle school sports.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Walker. There's a question about the lunch break. The lunch break is going to be longer than 5 minutes. There's a period on the schedule for lunch. You'll have time to, eat something. Definitely, it's longer than 5 minutes. Mrs. Manfresca, can I ask you? There were a couple questions here. Where'd it go? Special ed team, how will you be helping those students? I'm kind of summing all the questions up. You unmute yourself there, Mrs. Manfred.
Sorry. You're in good hands. No. So what we're doing is everyone will be doing it differently. We are going to look at their IEPs, see what minutes they have. Ms. Walker and I are in the same area, so we're echoing. And we will make sure that we meet their minutes. Wednesday is going to be a lot of IEP meetings. So I know with our students, we're going to meet with them one-on-one, like 20-minute increments on Wednesday and get that in. We will also be in all the classrooms. So those who do inclusion, the tutors will be meeting with kids separately, but we'll also be in the classrooms when the instruction goes on. And then we'll just meet with students a lot of times on the Wednesdays for support, and same thing with tutors. So it's really gonna vary with the IEPs and where your students are, if they're inclusion, if they're in self-contained, but hopefully that helps.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Manfresca. Question, compacted math. If you are in compacted math, you have a different math book. If you come through the school supply line, let them know that you're in compacted math. It is a different book from the Math 7 textbook. Let's see here. Yes, we're taking it 1 quarter at a time. We will keep you posted on what we know when we know it. I'm not sure, to Jennifer, I'm not sure where Ms. Medley, which breakout group she went to. And will students be required to show their face during Zoom meetings? Not on my end. So I think as a team, we've kind of agreed that they're not required to. But if I'm wrong on that, if somebody wants that, they don't have to. One thing I will say though, if we don't recognize the name from our roster, chances are
you have 20 seconds.
It's not going to get into that Zoom room. We do that for security reasons. We want to make sure we know who is in our meeting. On the flip of that, this is off topic, but in 15
seconds,
we are going to be sent back to the main meeting. Don't click any buttons. In 8 seconds, we will automatically be sent back, is what I'm told, okay? There we go. Maybe. Okay, go ahead and click return to main session.
Here they come. The participants are just speeding up exponentially. Okay, it looks like our breakout rooms, our grade level breakout rooms have ended because I see our participant list growing very large, very fast. So we have 254 participants, so that is wonderful. I hope you found the breakout rooms to be informative and valuable with the teachers. We are going to ask Miss Neese or Miss Preby if there are any questions that we would like to maybe get some answers to for right now.
Ms. Flanagan, I don't know are we going to another breakout room?
Yes, as soon as we're finished with Q&A from the first one.
Okay, well, they couldn't record it, so somebody needs to make the other breakout room a leader or whatever, because we couldn't record the last one with Cammie.
Okay, each breakout room has a leader. We're going to whose job it is to record. We've already done that, so we need to find out why they weren't able to do that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that
Mhm.
information. So as we're thinking about some questions, I do want to ask you at this point in time, we're going to play the rename game too. So you're going to find your name in the participant list again. You're going to click on that more button, just like you did the last time. You're going to click on rename, and then you're going to rename yourself with the breakout room that you'd like to attend for the second set of breakouts. And these are for special programming and unified arts. So you can choose from unified arts, UA, and then your name, special ed, and your name, gifted and talented, just put GT and your name, and student support services, put SS and your name. That will give Carrie the information she needs to assign you to the appropriate breakout room that you're interested in. Okay, so Patty or Sarah, any burning questions?
Miss Flanagan, one of the questions that came up in the 8th grade session was, would all classes be recorded in case a student missed their class?
Yes, so most of the teachers are thinking that their main lesson, they're going to record it for that reason. And the students can go back and check it out at if they've missed the class. What if you feel the need for more than one breakout room, Hannah? Unfortunately, we can only do one breakout. You can only choose one right now. Again, we are recording this session, and then each one of the breakout rooms will be recorded. I'm not sure why 6th grade couldn't get theirs done, but each breakout room will be recorded and uploaded into YouTube and then shared via email. So you'll have the opportunity to go back in and listen to the sessions, and then you can email any one of us if you have a question. An intervention specialist is a teacher who is a specialist in the area of special education, and they support our students with IEPs. Okay, Carrie, it looks like in both 6th and 7th grade, they couldn't record.
Okay, we should get that fixed for the next session.
Okay.
Mrs. Flanagan, this is Mrs. Treaster. This student support services is just going to be Mrs. Holmes and me. Is that correct?
It'll be our school nurse and our school counselor, yes.
Thank you. There were some questions about that. Thank you.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Carrie.
I need a few more minutes.
Okay, tell you what, let's move on, and we're going to go on to our next slide, and then we'll come back to the breakout rooms. So again, what can you do to support distance learning at home? Let us do the heavy lifting. Your teachers will be designing lessons. Your teachers will be delivering instruction each day. Your student will have FaceTime with your teacher Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for each class that they're enrolled in. What we'd like for you to do, if you can, please set a schedule for your child. That is before school and even after school. Give them time and space to not just do school, but also to engage in some of those healthy activities. Create a workspace for your child at home, a little desk area in the dining room, in their bedroom, someplace where they can work in an area that might have less interruptions. Columbus City Schools is partnering with many of our faith-based organizations in Columbus and with other different civic organizations and social organizations. to create what we are calling learning extension centers. And basically, these organizations have volunteered to open their doors to our students during the day, to give them a warm, safe place that's quiet, where they can do their schoolwork and attend virtual school. There'll be adults there who are background checked. They're going to be serving breakfast and lunch and snacks. Each one of the learning extension centers will have a certain number of students they can hold. I'm talking right now with a couple of them, and when that information is available, I'll put that out there so that you can register your child. And these would be certain days of the week, again, where your child can go and have a quiet place where they can go do their schoolwork. We need you to ensure that your child takes the breaks. So in that schedule where we have 5 minutes in between class, please make sure that they get away from their screen, that they take a short walk, use the restroom, maybe grab a snack to get away from the screen. Please make sure that your child and you are both checking Infinite Campus, reminding your child to get into Infinite Campus each day to mark themselves present, to do their attendance. Please make sure you're checking your email at least daily as we get this first couple of weeks of school off the ground. Again, we're trying to get this machine up and running, and I know there'll be hiccups, and we appreciate your patience as we work through those as well. You can take advantage of teacher and principal office hours. Your teachers have time built in during the day where they can respond to not just emails, but open up to have Q&A with parents through Zoom sessions. I'll be doing that once a week. And again, check your email as often as you can for updates. Okay, Carrie, how we doing?
Getting closer, just a couple more minutes.
Okay, no problem. Let's move on to some fuel up facts. So during virtual instruction, while our students are at home, Columbus City Schools is planning on serving breakfast and lunch to our students. Dominion Middle School is in Region 4, and the Region 4 fuel up sites are Centennial High School, Columbus Global Academy, Como Elementary, Cranbrook Elementary, Indianola Informal K-8, Salem Elementary, and Wylam Park. Students will be assigned fuel up sites based on their address. So whatever school or location your address is closest to, that's where your child will go to get their meals. And these are 5 breakfasts and 5 lunch meal packs. They will be distributed every Wednesday, beginning next Wednesday, September 9th, from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m., and then from 5 p.m. until 7 p.m. If you have any questions about the meal pickups, the fuel ups, please email the fact line at columbus.k12.oh.us. I don't know what kinds of meals there'll be or foods there'll be, but it is food and it is sustenance. So we're really happy that we could offer that to our families. All right.
Ms. Flanagan, there were a couple questions that came up that now might be a really good time to answer.
Awesome, thank you.
Will there be a way to call school staff?
That's a great question. And for right now, no. For right now, we're asking you to email your child's teachers if you need to communicate with them. One of the things that many of us are going to be doing is getting Google phone numbers so that we will be able to share a Google phone number with you without sharing our home phone number or personal cell phone. We're working on that, so please be patient with us as we get that done. We'll be sharing those Google phone numbers on our website and updating them as soon as possible. For right now, however, it's email only.
And the next question was, Will there be homework to be completed outside of school hours this quarter?
Yeah, so that homework, so to speak, will probably be done on Wednesday on the asynchronous day. Again, sitting in front of a screen all day long, we'd like to just limit it to the 8 to 2:25 time so that our kids can get away from the screen on their off time at home. And I'd like to go back to the phone number question. One thing after I answered it that my brain remembered was that starting next week on Tuesday, Mr. Brown and I will be in the building, as will our secretarial staff. And so you will be able to call the school if you have any questions, and there will be someone there to answer. Patty, any other questions? How we doing there?
Let me see. So a couple of people are asking about schedules. Schedules are on Infinite Campus, so students need to log into their schedules to their Infinite Campus to see what schedule they have, and then that will show them who their teachers are. That's come up several times.
Yes, as we are, it's 2020 and we just have to get with getting online. We've got to get in the parent portal. We've got to activate our parent portal. There's just no way around that. That's where all of the information is coming to for parents, is through the parent portal. And for students, you've got to get in the student portal as well. That's where you'll find your schedule. That's where you'll look at your grades. That's where you can email and message your teachers. Your teachers can message you. So it's imperative that we do that. The parent portal and the student portal. And parents in the parent portal, you'll have the ability to update your phone numbers, your email addresses, and all of that information then is how we communicate with you. And so to get good information in a timely manner, we really have to have that contact information updated. And the only way you can do that is through the parent portal. If you have questions, or if you are having trouble accessing the parent portal, I do have here in a couple slides an email, and here it is. Right here, the second note, parent portal access, email parentportalaccess@columbus.k12.oh.us if you're having any trouble getting into the parent portal. Okay. Carrie, how are we doing?
Ooh, I think we're about there. There are several participants who still haven't renamed themselves to tell me where they want to be, but we can figure that out and get them where they need to be. If you still haven't renamed yourself, please feel free to rename with either UA for Unified Arts, Special Ed, GT for Gifted and Talented, or SS for Student Support Services. And if you could put that at the beginning of your name, we don't need the grade level numbers anymore.
This is a question for our Spanish speakers. Do we have any Spanish speakers whose children are in 7th or 8th grade? I think most of them are in 6th. Ms. Hosroviani or Mr. Vincent, if you could maybe jump into the chat also to assist Roxana interpreting, we'd appreciate it. She needs a little bit of help.
There was a question about what does Unified Arts cover? Those are our special classes, which include Spanish, computers, choir, band, orchestra. What am I missing?
Art and theater and
Thank you.
engineering. Art, theater, and engineering.
There's a
And phys ed. Thanks, Mr. DeBose.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yes, our unified arts classes are Spanish 1 and 2, instrumental music, vocal music, and orchestra. Those are all the full year courses. Our semester courses are physical education, engineering, computer awareness, drama, and art.
Mrs. Flanagan, I did have a question on how do students access their email?
That's a great question. So the directions are on the Columbus City Schools website. If you go to ccsoh.us, and I am going to find that for you and put it in the chat. Click on students, and there will be a link for the student portal. You can click there, and if you scroll on down, there's a link for student email, and I'm going to put that link in the chat right now. ccsoh.us/page/7792. There you go. I did not make it a link, but it's, if you just copy and paste it into your browser, it should take you to that, to the link.
Mrs. Flanagan, I think I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. I am getting a message from Mrs. Holmes, who's having some trouble getting back in. So Mrs. Treaster and Mr. Pfeiffer, if you're here, you may need to cover for Mrs. Holmes until she can get back in.
I will do my best.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll get started with our second round of breakout rooms.
Hi, everybody. I was asked to record this, so just so you're aware, I'm recording.
Does it
Oh,
say
it looks like I have to have permission to record.
Miss Freebie, I've got you covered. I'm recording it.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, so a lot of you are repeat parents. You'll know me. I'm Miss Freebie. I've been at Dominion for 10 years, and this year primarily, I am a gifted curriculum specialist still, but I will be primarily focusing on 7th and 8th grade intervention and enrichment, and I will also be focusing on the social emotional health of our exceptional learners. So we do have a new staff member, Mrs. Ballinger. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Sure. I am Mrs. Ballinger. I'm not so new. This will be my 34th year in Columbus City Schools and my 15th year working in the Division of Gifted and Talented. And I will be a full-time gifted and talented core enrichment specialist this year at Dominion. I will be working primarily with 6th grade, but I also see my duties working outside of across grade levels, and I also will support district-wide enrichment opportunities. So I'm excited to be at Dominion this year.
We're very excited to have Ms. Ballinger. I don't have anything formal for this. We have the entire gifted teaching team with us. So I don't know if let me see here. I don't know if somebody can monitor the chat. I can't have it up.
I got you covered. I'm watching the chat.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions that we could possibly help with tonight?
I have a question.
Sure.
I've been hearing about these pod study groups.
Mhm.
Can you kind of share some information about that, where we could go to, or maybe my child can hook up with some other students and then they kind of create their own?
Yeah, I believe that is, oh, I don't think that's Columbus City Schools based.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I think it's, I have had a couple other parents mention it to me.
Okay.
But I think it is. I think it's community based and you're reaching out with other parents and setting that up. So I'm sorry, I really don't have any information on that.
Okay. Thanks.
Ms. Creevy, there's a question in the chat about who meets with 504 students.
Who
G-
meets with 504?
Yes, who works with
Yeah,
the
that-
504 students.
That would be special ed.
Yeah,
I mean,
that would be the group of us. Mhm. Yeah, he or she will have a team. I would be on that team. The classroom teachers are on that team. The school counselors on that team. So he or she would have full intervention for the 504.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Is possible when interpreter or somebody speak Spanish? So I already try for text and somebody speak Spanish, and I can do it. So
Okay.
maybe he's much better with me when somebody speak Spanish, when I can understand all of it. What do you say?
All right,
Sure.
give me a second. I'll see if I can get somebody in here.
Please, thank you.
thanks, Patty.
Mrs. Preeby, I'll go ahead with the chat questions while she's figuring that out.
Okay, thank
There was a question again about the pods. Do we have a recommendation on how we could organize those? I don't live in Columbus, but I can tell you that the neighborhood where I live, they are organizing those pods on Facebook. I don't know of any other way to do that. I haven't seen any other way, but they're reaching out on social media in the area where I live to get those pods together. I don't know if that helps, but that's what I'm seeing.
Thank you, Mrs. Piper.
All right, the chat kind of blew up there and I missed some things.
I'm ready. I have my notepad.
Okay, so how can, this person wants to know how they can switch, I'm assuming, to the Unified Arts meeting. I don't know. You can leave this room, but I don't know how you get into the other breakout room.
If you leave this room and go back to the main and rename yourself, I will let Miss Shuda look for you because she can move people. But make sure that you just leave the room and not the meeting.
There's a, whoops, it scooted up. Okay, this student was placed in gifted math halfway through 5th grade, wants to make sure that they're in the right math class this year for 6th grade. How do they find out if she is in gifted math this year?
I'm going to put my email in the chat. And you can just email me directly and I can share all of that information privately. Whatever I have.
Okay.
That is my email.
We have another question. Could you please just give a general overview of how GT works in middle school? This is from an incoming 6th grader. Just a general overview of what the program looks like.
Yes, that's a great question.
Hey,
so,
just a heads up, Miss K is in here, so if you want to say things and then she can unmute herself and then interpret after, that would probably work well.
Okay. I don't know who asked that, but thank you for asking that. It's a good question. Basically, so it's going to be obviously slightly different until we go back to the school, but we will, the students are clustered generally by identification or very closely clustered by multiple identifications. and they travel sort of in a group throughout the day, depending on where they go, except for their unified arts classes. And then a lot of the enrichment opportunities will happen during core enrichment. And that's when myself, Mrs. Ballinger, and then the classroom teachers, if they have anything specifically, when we would be working with the students. And then additionally, we are in the classroom some of the time, especially with the online learning. We will be co-teaching with a number of the teachers. We will be in there with them. And then when school resumes, we'll be in the classrooms as well. I hope that makes sense. Your child will also have a written education plan, also called a WEP, which you will get at the beginning. You will get a progress report in the middle of the year, and then you will get a final one at the end of the year.
Okay, couple questions. The kiddos who are, I think I can answer this one, Ms. Preeby.
Don't forget to pause at the end so Kay can interpret.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
Okay, so I'm not an expert, but could you give me a brief version of what you would like me to say?
Are you asking me or Ms. Preeby at this moment?
I think Ms. Preeby, what specifically should I be conveying?
I'm not sure. From what I just said?
Yes.
That the child will have they'll have service. I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Okay,
I feel completely discombobulated and I don't know what to do.
Let's say that the child will have services in their classroom with their cluster teacher, and there will be gifted support coming into that classroom, and then they'll have opportunities through core enrichment. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Ms. Ballinger.
Okay, so para los quien necesitan español, ella dijo que los maestras de tu estudiante van a estar en sus clases y si necesitan más ayuda después de la clase, van a estar oportunidades en core enrichment. Es una clase donde ellos pueden tener oportunidades más para si necesitan ayuda. That's my best shot there.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. There were a couple questions about the GT, the compacted math. So if you don't mind, I'll answer those if you guys are
please.
okay.
That's all you.
The compacted math, because there was a question about retesting. Because we left school in the spring before the placement testing took place, there were 3 different things that Mr. Heiner, who is in charge of our math department, 3 things that he looked at. He looked at GT identification and the score on the 5th grade air test. And there were requirements. You could either meet a certain GT identification of math identified or superior cog identified, or achieving a 4 or a 5 on the 5th grade air test. That was one requirement. The second requirement that had to be met, they looked at the middle of the year test last year. That was taken January-ish, I believe. And they were looking at goal 1 and goal 2, which were the topics that had already been covered that year. And they needed a certain average score on those 2 items. So you had to meet one of the 2 things in the first requirement and the second requirement to be placed into compacted math. So as far as fall testing, yes, I heard that also in the spring that they wanted to do another test in the fall. I don't think they anticipated that we would not be in the building at that point. I have talked to Mr. Heiner about this. There's no way to do that right now. Part of the concern, of course, is COVID safety And a smaller part is if we do a test online, having a valid testing situation. So as of right now, I cannot give you an answer about when a retest would be, but that's what I know from Mr. Heiner. There was a student on here who said that she never took a test. Well, she did. Don't worry, sweetie, you're in. I got you. You're on my roster, okay? We looked at the requirements that I just went over, and you are where you're supposed to be right now. But if you don't believe me, email Miss Preby and she'll tell you the same thing, okay? Other questions. Oh, Whetstone students who are going to be taking math at Whetstone. I do not have information for you. Your teachers over there should be reaching out. If they haven't already, they should be soon. That's all I know about the high school courses there. Let's see. Algebra 1 is a high school credit, yes. And compacted math, that is 7th grade. And what we do is we teach the 7th grade curriculum and the 8th grade curriculum in 1 year. It's mostly 8th grade, but we cover 2 grade levels in 1 year. Let's see here. Math 1 did change the name to algebra. Yes, we're back on the algebra track.
Special GT enrichment activities planned for the fall.
Yes, right
there.
I would say those.
I was looking in the wrong way. Go ahead, Ms. Ballinger.
Well, I think that we'll continue with a lot of middle school enrichment academic opportunities that have always existed. How they'll, obviously they'll be different in terms of power of the pen that Mr. Heisel heads up. We would probably, we're looking at the geography bee. We are still looking at our debate program. How that's going to work with capital depends on capital. So when you're looking at district-led academic opportunities, and then you're looking at those opportunities that are outside of our district, we'll have to see. And then obviously there's teachers have a lot of their own different kinds of academic enrichment that happens within the classroom and within the school. So I would imagine it's going to stay the same as much as possible, or we'll offer a variety.
Yeah, I think that's one point I'd like to make to all the parents is that we plan on doing, as a gifted department, we plan on doing everything we've done to the capacity that we can with the pandemic. We still plan on doing mock trial, math showcase, hopefully. So all of those enrichment activities we've always done. If we can do them, we will. We should be doing invention convention again. So just so you guys know, we are not actively walking away from anything. We are going to try to keep all of them on target like we have.
Yep.
There was a question, and I'm going to direct this to the parent. I think I know the answer, but the daughter was in GT in elementary school. They took some time and did homeschooling. She wants to know if her child is in GT again. I would say email either Ms. Preby or Ms. Ballinger, and they can answer that question. Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
And I can include my email as well, particularly 6th grade parents, if they want to send to me. They can also reach out to the Gifted and Talented office. There is a Gifted and Talented secretary there that can also assist.
I think we covered the chat. I'm trying to make sure. If I missed your question, please retype it.
I think we hit all the questions. I think I'm not seeing any extra ones, and Miss K is doing a great job of typing in her responses.
Oh, if you don't mind, if you didn't pick up your school supplies, when you come through the line, whichever teachers are there, if you tell them, if you're in compacted math, please tell them that you're in compacted math because it's a different book.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Piper. That's a good point.
It's the Math 7 books. There are 2 volumes. There are 2 volumes for compacted math, but only the first one is in right now. So we're just handing out the first volume for compacted math, but it is a different book. So make sure, please, that you tell them you need the compacted book.
I am also going, if I can without exiting, I'm going to put my personal Google Classroom link and Meet the Teacher in the chat. A lot of, like I said, most of you know me, 6th grader parents, you wouldn't. So I'm gonna try to do
So there's a question about schedules with, I'm assuming that's with those kids that are going to
Whetstone.
And the Whetstone, I don't know what their schedule looked like, but I am writing that down because it should have been first and second period at Whetstone, which should still be in the time frame that our first and second period is. So it should still work, but I will look that up and double check for you.
Okay.
Question, schedules are different virtually. That came in right after the compacted math talk. Yes, compacted math and Math 7 are different periods. They will not be in the same Zoom sessions. And to the 7th grader who is in Algebra 1, yes, please come through. And when you come through the school supply, let them know you need the algebra book. We have one of those for you as well.
We are down to about 2 minutes. Does anyone have any urgent question that we could cover quickly? It's hard for me to know. Okay. Well, thank you. I really appreciate everyone popping in. I'm sorry it's been a little frazzled. You guys are welcome. I'm seeing thank yous. I can see some of the chat things come up, so you guys are more than welcome. Please email us with any questions. You guys know that I will, if I can, I will get you an answer right away, and if I can't, I will find the answer for you. So all of you who had schedule questions and placement questions, please do not hesitate to reach out and email me, Miss Ballinger, and we can get that all figured out for you.
Hey, Ms. Piper, there's a question in there. We have a 7th grader transferring from CGA. He finished 7th grade math, but is in compacted. Is that correct?
I do know of that situation. I have forwarded that to somebody who knows the answer.
Yeah, we're on that situation to that parent.
Yeah, do we have a final answer, Ms. Preby?
We don't, but I know that if it's not fixed, it's in the process of being there. I don't want to say for sure because I don't know, but I know that we're on it.
Lots of thank yous. So
you guys are welcome. I love it. I miss the kids. I'm so excited that we might be going back and can at least see them some of the time, safely, of course, but thank you to all of you who in the spring were so gracious and wonderful and still allowed us to try to get this done. I enjoyed every minute of it to see them. So
I have Mr. Heisel, and there's not enough time because we're
4 seconds. Good. Bye, guys. Please email me.
There was a question about DC in the 8th grade meeting, so that might be something that we bring up when we go back.
Yes.
Hi, Miss Flanagan.
Hi. How are you?
Excited.
Looks
Good.
like we're back.
I'm glad.
We're back from our breakouts.
Okay, wonderful. So it looks like we have 187 participants. Miss Simonis, thank you so much for letting me know that. So we lost a few, but that's okay. We are going to finish out our evening here. Just again, a couple of reminders. Want to make sure that we know that we can get breakfast and lunch. We just want to make sure we highlight that. That's something the district will be providing, and that you know where you can find help. So if you have any technical difficulties with the Chromebook, with internet, anything technical with any of the learning platforms, you can reach out to our Kingswood Help Desk at 614-365-8425, and they'll have a myriad of different numbers that you can push to get to different places depending upon your issue. You can also email them at ccshelpdesk@columbus.k12.oh.us, probably the faster way to get help. If you are having difficulty accessing the parent portal, you can email Ms. Bosley at email Ms. Bosley at abosley1@Columbus, or you can email the parent portal access at columbus.k12.oh.us. Again, I cannot impress upon us enough how important it is that parents are using the parent portal and have the parent portal activated. It's absolutely a necessity. So your student needs to get in and look at their schedule in the student portal. I shared in the chat how they can also activate their email, and that's also a necessity. Each student in Columbus City Schools has their email account, and they have to have that activated. So we'll be sending out information about that as well. But they can find that information on the Columbus City Schools website. Click on students, scroll all the way down on the left, and it'll tell them how to access their email and how to activate that. Email your students' teachers with questions. I'm going to be hosting a weekly coffee on Wednesdays. If you have any questions, you can pop in there and hopefully get those answered. And if we don't have answers for you, we will look to find those answers. I do want to remind everyone, the district is offering parents the ability to make a preference. It doesn't mean a choice, and that doesn't mean that you'll get your preference, but share your preference for when we get back to blended learning, which cohort and days your child will be in. So you'll be able to share if you wish for them to be in cohort A, which is Monday, Tuesday, or cohort B, which is Thursday, Friday. That window closes tomorrow afternoon, I believe at 5 o'clock. Don't wait, get in there and make that preference as soon as you can. If you get on the Columbus City Schools website and go look at the Reopening Rise Up CCS up at the top of the screen, you'll find a link for how to make those preferences there. School supply pickup. I want to thank you for your participation today and your patience. I heard at one point the line was about 3 miles long. We wanted to just open it up to everybody just to be flexible. We are going to change our plan for tomorrow though, because we've got to stuff bags and we've got to label computers. Mr. Brown, do you want to share the plan for tomorrow?
Sure. First of all, thank you for all the parents that came out today. I know some of you probably had to turn around because the lines were so long, as Ms. Flanagan had stated. So what we would like to do tomorrow, we're still going to open it up to all grades, but we're gonna break it down by last names. If I could have A through M come between 12 and 2. I know it says 9, but won't be ready by 9 tomorrow. We'll be ready, we'll be able to do another 12 to 4 tomorrow. Now we are giving away Chromebooks, or I shouldn't say giving away, but you will have Chromebook access and school supply access next week as well. But we're talking about tomorrow, Friday. We're going to do 12 to 4, and I would like to have last names A through M between 12 and 2, and N through Z between 2 and 4. And that way, I believe the lines won't be long like they were today. The Columbus police showed up. We can't have 3-mile long lines, but I told him, hey, our students need their computers and they need their schoolwork, and they understood. But for safety, we really shouldn't have lines that long on Arcadia. So once again, times tomorrow, and Ms. Flanagan will put this out in an email later. 12 to 2, last names A through M, and 2 to 4, last names N through Z. Thank you.
Thank you.
So a couple quick questions in the chat.
Go ahead.
The first one was, how do we attend the coffees? How do we get the information to attend the coffees with you?
That's a great question. I will share in an email the Zoom links for those coffees.
Okay. And I can answer a couple of these. Can we show what all comes in the supplies besides a Chromebook?
So we created a basic supply list in July with just basic supplies for the first grading period. We are planning on replenishing those as the year goes on, and hopefully we'll be back to in-person learning. There's a 3-ring binder, there's graph paper, lined paper, a few mechanical pencils, some pens, earbuds.
The books.
Yeah, the consumable textbooks. There's a student planner. We're going to be adding whiteboard, dry erase whiteboards and dry erase markers. And I think we're going to be adding colored pencils. I thought those got in there, but they may haven't. And yes, you will have to sign, electronically sign in the parent portal, the Chromebook contract. Mrs. Bosley and Mr. Brown have taken care of the system for you to go pick those up in person and get those signed electronically.
Mr. Brown, this is Mrs. Piper. There was a question earlier, and I don't know if you saw it, about hotspots. I know they weren't available today, but do you have more information on the hotspots?
No, not at this time. We know they should have been delivered with the computers, and they were not. But that doesn't mean anything. They may come in tomorrow. So if you need a hotspot, probably the earliest you will be able to get one is next week. And remember, we have all, we're going to be doing this all next week as well.
There was a question, what will be covered on Monday night that was not covered tonight? Really nothing that was not covered tonight. Monday night we'll be showing a little staff introductory video for the staff to introduce themselves, probably be showing Mr. Heisel pretending to be the king in Hamilton again for those people who didn't see it. And then also just, you know, open forum Q&A. I'll be reminding people about attendance, you know, students getting in to take their attendance, and just some couple of maybe a few little repeats that we had tonight. And I'm sorry, I can't talk any longer, it seems like. I hope that made sense.
Okay, I think, let me see. Where do they go to sign for the Chromebooks? They just wanted a reminder.
Yeah, so you're just gonna pull in, follow the line of cars, and they will take care of all of that when you get in the supply pickup line.
I don't see any other questions. Did anybody see one that I missed? Let's watch in the chat.
I'm gonna go drive myself.
Yes, I have a question.
Asked if she could get a hotspot if they can't get a computer, if they don't need a computer. Sorry, I forgot what you said.
You know, I think you can. If who needs a hotspot? Jamie, thanks for putting the PTSO Facebook page out there. That's a great place to get information. It is a closed Facebook group, and you have to be a parent, a Dominion parent, to be a member of the group. Michelle Christopher is our family ambassador, and she and our PTSO do a phenomenal job of getting information out there. Molly Tooker, and I think Molly is in here. She is the PTSO president this year. Molly, do you want to put you on the spot a little bit, but do you want to say a few words about PTSO?
Sure. My name is Molly. I have a 7th grader named Will. We would love all of your guys' help this year for, you know, a number of things. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to go forward, you know, in this virtual world. So yeah, everybody, if you ask to join the PTSO page, we just ask that you answer the question so we know that you're a parent and who your kid is and that kind of thing. But we look forward to this year. Thank you.
Molly, thanks so much. Again, I apologize for putting you on the spot. I know you do really well on the spot though, and that's why. A lot of great information from PTSO, and it's an amazing organization, great network of parents. Okay, so there was, tell you what, if you need a hotspot, put your name in the chat. We are saving the chat, and so we'll be able to respond then to other questions. But if you need a hotspot, just put your name in there and we'll make sure we get your name written down.
I'm sorry, Ms. Flanagan. I have one more question and I kept typing it, but it's not getting answered. I missed the part. That's okay. No, I just missed the part of what, where do we sign up for the days of what we want when we go back to school?
Yes. So if you get into the Columbus City Schools website, click on the Reopening Rise Up CCS link, and then go over to the left side of the screen where it says Reopening Latest News. Just scroll down, it's in there. That's the easiest way that I have found to find it.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. I'll make sure I share that link in an email. I'm going to send an email out as soon as we're finished, and it'll be in there.
Mrs. Flanagan, there were a couple questions regarding where to find different pieces of information. So parents, make sure that some of the great places to check are the Dominion PTSO Facebook page, the Dominion Middle School Facebook page, as well as make sure in Infinite Campus that your email is up to date, because that is how Mrs. Flanagan will also send out the S'mores newsletter.
Thanks, Ms. Staten. Great information. Okay. UA, you said hotspot, please, but I don't know who you are. You could identify yourself.
Dottie, there's been a lot of people saying they would like hotspots, a lot of names. I haven't been able to write them all down fast enough.
Yeah, I'm writing them down too. Okay, I will tell you the number of hotspots the district has purchased is limited. So I would ask that if you need one, we will do our best to get you one. I've requested 50 and was told that's too many. And so I took that number down to 20. So like I said, we'll do our very best to get those to you. And it looks like I'm gonna have to figure out a better way to get all that information from you. Maybe a survey and an email. Okay. So a couple people are asking for campus passwords. Your teachers have not sent out any Google Classroom invitations yet purposefully because we're trying to make sure the schedules are cleaned up. Tomorrow afternoon, your students will get invitations to their Google Classrooms. We are working feverishly to get those classroom codes loaded into their schedule so that they'll be able to look in their schedule and click on the code and go right to the Google Classroom. So please be patient. Again, I cannot thank you enough for your patience as we work through this. We're having to do a lot of different work this year. So you'll get all of that information. If you need help with the parent portal, you can email Ms. Bosley, and I'm going to write her email in here. It is abosley1@columbus.k12.oh.us. She can give you your access code to get in, or you can email parentportalaccess@columbus.k12.oh.us, either one. Put that in there too. Okay. Please shoot me, the supply line for tomorrow. I'm going to put that in the email. I apologize. I put out there today that we would be opened up from 9 a.m. until 4. However, our team needs time to stuff more bags and to put codes on the Chromebooks. And so Mr. Brown mentioned, I want to reiterate, we're asking our parents with the last name, student last name A through M, to come from noon until 2. And student last name N through Z to come from 2 until 4. We are also handing out supplies and Chromebooks all next week from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the same location. Okay, any other questions? Thank you all so much for being with us tonight. I hope that you have some answers. I hope that you have some clarity around how things will work next week. And please reach out if you have additional questions. You can email me at dflanaga@Columbus. I'm gonna put my email in here. And we'll work hard to get you an answer. So we just thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you next week. Monday. We'll talk to you on Monday. I'll send the links out for that too. Okay, bye-bye.